Welcome to another episode number 9 of the Human Condition Podcast. I'm your host, American Council on Exercise Certified Personal Trainer, Kiri Jones. We are on episode 9. We are one away from double digits and no closer to double-digit listeners, but that's fine. On today's episode, we're going to be covering the most recent blog about calories. And when I say covering, I mean I'm going to be reading the blog on the podcast because this topic in particular is information heavy and it's kind of broad. And I feel like I write better and can organize my thoughts better when reading than I can from just trying to write my little notes that help me try to keep track of what I'm talking about. So in the interest of keeping the introduction short, I'm going to start reading the blog and then I'm going to go into a conversation about why I picked this as a topic to write about and then to speak about. So, the blog is titled The Ultimate Crash Course on Calories Fueling Your Body for Health and Performance. When it comes to health, fitness, and even just day-to-day life, calories are a crucial concept that gets thrown around constantly. Yet, many people don't fully understand what calories are, how they impact the body, or why maintaining the right balance is so important. In this crash course, we'll dive deep into calories, what they are, how they affect your energy levels, metabolism, and overall health, and why consistently over or under eating can have significant impacts on your body. So, what are calories? In the simplest terms, a calorie is a unit of energy. When you eat food, the body breaks it down to release the energy, which is used to fuel everything from physical activity to basic bodily functions like breathing and keeping your heart beating. Calories are a necessary part of survival, and we need a certain amount of calories each day to keep our body functioning optimally. The number of calories we need can vary greatly based on factors like age, gender, activity level, and muscle mass. Minimum calories needed to survive. The basal metabolic rate, or BMR. Your BMR is the number of calories your body needs at rest to perform basic life-sustaining functions like breathing, circulating blood, and maintaining your body temperature. In other words, it's the minimum amount of calories your body needs just to stay alive, even if you are laying in bed all day. You can calculate your BMR using specific formulas like the Mifflin-St. Jeor equation, which factors in your height, weight, age, and gender. However, it is important to note that your BMR only accounts for basic survival. To maintain a healthy, active life, you need more calories than this minimum amount. Total daily energy expenditure, or TDEE. Your TDEE is a more complete picture of how many calories you need. TDEE includes not just your BMR, but also the calories you burn through physical activity, digestion, and other daily movements. TDEE is often used to help people determine how many calories they need to maintain, lose, or gain weight. If you eat more calories than your TDEE, you will gain weight, while eating less than that leads to weight loss. However, this isn't as simple as it sounds because metabolism and other factors can affect how your body uses calories. The impact of consistently under-eating. One of the biggest risks of consistent under-eating is metabolic damage. When you consume too few calories for a prolonged period, your body adapts by slowing down your metabolism to conserve energy. This often is referred to as starvation mode, but that term is somewhat misleading. In this state, your body becomes more efficient at using energy, which can make weight loss more difficult over time. Other side effects of consistently under-eating include fatigue, muscle loss, nutrient deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, among other things. In the long run, under-eating can have serious consequences for both your physical and mental health. The impact of overeating. On the flip side, overeating, especially consistently, can also wreak havoc on your body. When you eat more calories than your body needs, the excess is stored as fat. Over time, this can lead to weight gain, increased body fat percentage, insulin resistance, increased strain on your heart, among other things. These lists are not exhaustive. They were just examples in order to give you a picture of what could occur from either of these scenarios. It's important to note that not all overeating leads to obesity. However, if you're consistently taking in more calories than your body can burn, it will almost certainly result in fat gain and other negative health consequences. The danger of inconsistent diets. Having an inconsistent diet, whether that means constantly yo-yoing between under and overeating or eating irregularly, can be just as damaging. Metabolic confusion, erratic energy levels, and inconsistent nutrient intake can lead to weight fluctuations, muscle loss, and other health issues. Furthermore, this type of eating can wreak havoc on your relationship with food, contributing to disordered eating patterns and unhealthy habits. What are empty calories? When people refer to empty calories, they're talking about foods that provide energy but very little to no nutritional value. Think of foods like sugary drinks, candy, and highly processed snacks. These foods are typically high in calories but lack vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients your body needs. Consuming too many empty calories can lead to nutrient deficiencies, poor energy levels, weight gain, among other things. To maintain a balanced, healthy diet, it's important to focus on nutrient-dense foods that provide a good mix of macronutrients, carbs, proteins, and fats, and micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals. I put this in here because I have seen I don't know how many videos of even health and fitness influencers who put themselves on these 30-day challenges where they say, I'm going to eat only fast food for 30 days, or I'm going to eat only pizza for 30 days, or I'm going to have a soda with every meal, whatever. And they do this in order to prove that they can still lose weight while eating these things that are generally recognized as poor choices of food. And that's all well and good. It is possible, but that does not mean that that's what you should do. And that does not mean that it's good for you. There are a whole host of other issues that come with eating foods that are not good for you. Like, you could lose weight, but you could actively be building plaque in your arteries and creating the perfect storm for a future heart attack. So when you see these videos of like health and fitness influencers that are like, oh, I ate such and such fast food for 30 days and lost 10 pounds. Watch it for entertainment purposes, but don't watch it in order to justify unhealthy decisions or anything else. Anyway, back to the blog. Calories and metabolism. Your metabolism is essentially the process by which your body converts the calories you consume into usable energy. It involves a complex system of chemical reactions that break down the food you eat and use it to fuel everything from cellular functions to physical activity. But the speed of your metabolism is influenced by several factors, like genetics, muscle mass, age, hormones, again, among other things. While you can't control all aspects of your metabolism, certainly lifestyle choices like building muscle through strength training, eating enough protein, staying active, can help you keep it running efficiently. Other important considerations. The thermal effect of food, or TEF. Did you know that your body burns calories just to digest the food that you eat? This is known as the thermal effect of food. Some foods like protein have a higher thermal effect than others. This means that eating a high protein diet can actually increase the number of calories your body burns during digestion. Quantity versus quality. While calorie quantity is important, calorie quality should never be overlooked. 2 meals might have the same calorie count, but the one made up of nutrient-dense whole foods will provide better long-term energy, health benefits, and satiety than a meal full of empty calories. Sustainable calorie balance. One of the best approaches to long-term health is calorie balance. This means aligning your calorie intake with your TDEE, ensuring you get enough to support your body's needs without consistently under or overeating. For weight management, muscle gain, or even fat loss, this balance is crucial, and you might have heard this referred to before as calories in, calories out. It is a tried and true, very simple method you can follow. In conclusion, understanding calories and their role in your body is key to making informed decisions about your health, fitness, and diet. Whether you're looking to lose weight, gain muscle, or simply maintain a healthy lifestyle, knowing how many calories you need and where those calories should come from will help guide you in the right direction. By maintaining a balanced, consistent approach to eating and focusing on nutrient-dense foods, you will not only provide your body with the energy it needs, but also set yourself up for long-term health and well-being. So next time you hear someone talking about calories, you'll be armed with the knowledge to make better, smarter choices for your own health journey. I brought this up, and I wrote about it, and I'm speaking about it because calories are, like I said in the beginning of that, misunderstood. And the problem with not understanding things is when you start to adopt very popular beliefs about them, they're often confusing or they're adopted incorrectly, or it creates a negative feedback loop. And I'm not saying this happens to everybody, but it's happened to enough people in my life that I feel that it is so crucially important to speak about, because I know if it's happening to a high number of people in my life, it is happening in a much, much higher rate throughout society and very likely throughout the world. Now, I'm sure you've heard of disordered eating behaviors like anorexia and bulimia, but there are other disordered behaviors that go along with in the health and fitness space, like food restriction and other things. And what tends to happen, and I'm speaking specifically in the weight loss or attempt at weight loss category, is once we have once we've found out our BMR and once we've discovered our TDEE and we've found the range of calories at which we're supposed to eat in order to lose weight, we then start to classify foods and calories as good or bad. Calories in and of themselves are neither. They are just a reaction, an energy release. So 1 calorie goes into your body then takes that calorie, turns it into energy to use for other things. Where the classification should come in is whether you're talking about empty calories versus whole nutrient-dense foods. Your heart will beat, your blood will circulate, you will walk or run or whatever on a diet of empty calories. But over the long term, your body will start to break down. You'll start to be fatigued. You'll be ill. So many things can negatively happen from not eating nutrient-dense foods. So the important thing is to make sure that not only are you following your calories in, calories out, whether you're trying to gain, lose, or maintain, and then making sure you're making the choice to eat whole nutrient-dense foods. And the easiest way to figure out what those foods are they are, when you buy them from the store, as close to what their original form was. So like broccoli, for instance. Broccoli grows as a plant. It is then pulled, put into whatever process it's put into, and then put into a bag and then sold at the store. That's pretty close. Lettuce, again, picked, put into a bag. Beef, the process, then you buy a steak. When you start to get things that are in boxes, or they're shaped differently, or dyed a different color, or sprinkled with certain powdered flavoring, that's when they start to get further and further away from their original form. So focus on buying those whole nutrient-dense foods and focus on keeping your calories where you need them to be based on your goal. If you are starting to notice that if you're trying to lose weight and you start approaching that, it's the end of the day, you're near where you're supposed to be, and then you start restricting what it is that you're eating so that you can meet that calorie goal. So say you want a meal, or you want to make a meal, or you have a meal already prepped that's such and such amount of calories, but it'll put you over by 10, 50, 100 calories. So you don't eat it, or you eat less because you're trying to stay under that. That borders on something that is not a sustainable habit, and that will increase a negative relationship with food. And you can, for a time, function this way where you are restricting what you're eating in order to hit that goal of weight loss. But when we are talking about holistic health and wellness, part of that is your mental health. And you cannot accomplish that goal with disordered behavior, or with restrictive eating, or with a poor relationship with food. Even if you've lost the weight, like, that's not holistically healthy, because it impacts your it impacts your mental health negatively. And it's not to say that these things are not discussed, but they're not widely discussed. And I feel like as health and fitness professionals, I mean, we're not mental health professionals, but if people don't realize that they are engaging in these behaviors and nobody tells them, then they'll just continue down that rabbit hole until it becomes damaging. And I feel like we need to do better about educating the general population on just the existence of these things. And if you're somebody, and it might not be you, and this doesn't happen to everybody. It doesn't. Some people are just, they function differently than others. But in the society that we live in today, where we function on instant gratification and social media and comparison, it is so prevalent. And what sparked my, I guess, need to discuss this was I keep seeing articles on how teens are being affected by what's called bigorexia. And that is the constant pursuit of getting bigger and bigger muscles while not, it's a form of like body dysmorphia where you can't see the amount of muscles you're gaining. And so you just keep doing it. And it's a concern. It's a concern that these behaviors are affecting younger and younger and younger populations every day. And I want to create a world in which my child will grow up without being impacted this way. And I want other people's children to not have to go through this. And I want their parents to understand that it's okay and that they don't need to fit into these boxes, and they don't need to follow these trends, and they don't need to become victim to the things that will not help them and will not create overall happiness. And that's really what we're kind of missing here, is just the ability to be happy with where we are. And you can be happy with where you're at and recognize that a change needs to be made, but you have to be happy. And I could literally talk forever and a day about all of my concerns with where we're at as a society. But I feel like I've done the current topic some justice. And I mentioned before in another podcast where I said I was going to create a page on the Human Conditioned website that directed people towards resources. And I'm still working on that page because what I want to do is make sure that I can get a complete list of resources, but also that they're the correct resources and that they're resources that are either free or people can access them from wherever. So if you know any resources that you have used or that you know about, or that even if you work for them, send them to me, because I want to make sure that when people come to the website, if they are feeling like they might have these negative behaviors or that they're on a path or trajectory that is not sustainable, that they can go to these resources. I mean, they can ask me questions first, but I guess what I should say is these resources are meant to cover where I cannot. I am a certified personal trainer. I am not a certified mental health professional, licensed mental health professional. So I can talk people through things. I can speak on them in a very general way, but I cannot engage in things like cognitive behavioral therapy in order to help you repair your relationship with your food or with your body. So hopefully these resources will be beneficial. I don't even care if that part of my website gets like no traction other than the people who are in need of them. But anyway, so we covered the blog about calories. Calories are such a simple concept and they are so complex in the body. It is outstanding. It's crazy what the body does. And the more that I learn about it, the more curious it makes me. It's like you have all of these things that are in balance and in homeostasis in your body, and you have to do certain things in order to keep it there or to optimize it, and it's different for everybody. And I'm just so curious about where the sweet spot is for, like, I guess me personally. And I just bought another book. It's called Outlive by Dr. Peter Attia, and it's kind of a beefy book to be staring down reading pages before bed, but I also have taken a break from reading health and fitness related information because sometimes I just like to dive into a fantasy novel that has nothing to do with anything other than escaping reality. So once I get through that book, I will probably make a review on it, maybe briefly mention it in the podcast, maybe make a video for YouTube. I have no idea. I'm still in the process of finding my groove with everything, and without the feedback from people who are listening or watching, it's really hard for me to create content that people like or that I know people like, because I don't want to do the research to go through, I don't know, countless social media profiles to find what gets them the most clicks, because that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to educate. But yeah, that's the podcast. So I'm going to go and probably make myself another cup of coffee and, do whatever I do outside of sitting in my office and creating podcasts for you. So without further ado, until next time.